So, as more states are taking steps to legalize the good herb, there are a few states which are going in the complete opposite direction and passing bans on everything, including hemp and THCA products. And today we got another bill which is a signature away from devastating thousands of consumers and businesses over in Tennessee.
Bill that would add regulations on hemp products is moving forward. It now heads to government operations. The bill proposes that the hemp industry be controlled by the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission instead of the Department of Agriculture. It would also change the limit of how much Delta-9 THC could be in products. Right now, 0.3% is allowed, but the bill would change it to 0.1%. Hemp business owners worry these new restrictions and a different bill that would ban certain products could leave thousands without a job.
So you guys can already see we're barely 2 minutes into today's episode, and there's a running theme that we're noticing from previous episodes. A lot of these states want the liquor control board of that state to also control the good herb, and a lot of people are not happy with that. So let me know what you guys think about that. But in this particular situation, Tennessee is going a step further, and they're trying to rewrite that farm bill. You guys are familiar with that farm bill that allows anything under 0.3% to be federally legal. That's opened the door for a lot of businesses and a lot of legal businesses to set up shop in a lot of different states. But what this bill is seeking to do is actually reduce that limit from 0.3 to 0.1. And that bill, as crazy as it sounds, is currently making its way through the houses and it's on its way to being approved.
Last minute switch, Tennessee House members passed a bill that would essentially ban all hemp flower in the state.
The measure's original goal was to regulate the hemp industry with rules including packaging and testing requirements. State Capitol reporter Tori Gessner explains why some worry the bill goes a step too far.
It's been called the Wild West because of its lack of regulations. But now, Tennessee lawmakers aren't just trimming the edges of the hemp industry. Some say they're pulling it up from the roots.
56 of you just stuck it to every farmer and small business that has invested in this business.
Hemp and marijuana may look the same, but their chemical compounds are different. That is, until hemp is burned. The THCA inside turns to THC, the same substance in marijuana that gets you high.
We were all told when we voted for hemp that, well, it's the non-intoxicating cousin to marijuana. You don't have to worry about anybody getting high. All that horse has left the barn.
Now this right here is the problem, guys. We were told when we passed this bill that this is what it was supposed to be, but a lot of people who are passing these bills, writing these bills, and sponsoring these bills have no idea what the bill is about. Sure, they may know that the title of the bill has to do with medical or recreational herb, but have they ever grown a plant? Have they ever consumed it? Do they know how it operates? Are they familiar with the effects of it? And not just the bad stuff that they heard back in the day, but the positive medical benefits that are present in this plant now. A lot of them have no clue, but let's keep it rolling.
All that horse has left the barn.
House Majority Leader William Lamberth's bill creates packaging restrictions, testing requirements, and other regulations most agree are needed. But a last-minute amendment caused controversy on the House floor, with some worried it would ban natural hemp flower altogether.
We're taking, in this amendment, the natural substance of this plant and saying, you know what, we're going to make the natural substance illegal, but we're going to make it to where the synthetics are legal. You're not voting on a bill to do away with people being able to get high. You're voting on a bill to do away with people getting high naturally.
The amendment bans products with more than 0.3% THCA, matching up with federal law and the Senate's version of the bill. It's also the same rule the hemp industry sued over to stop it from going into effect last year. But those for the bill argue putting regulations on THCA levels is part of the regulation process, passing the bill in hopes it protects Tennesseans from dangerous products.
That is the new federal standard. Total THC less than 0.3%. That's the standard. These businesses you've heard talked about today have gambled on a product that is federally illegal.
Would everybody declare passive objection to most reconsider table?
Reporting in Nashville, I'm Tori Gessner.
Now the Senate version of this bill is set to go to the floor soon.
So we'll check in and see what the Senate has got to say about that bill. And just a quick reminder, guys, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. Now, the Senate has actually approved this bill, and we're going to get into what they have to say about it. But I just want to point out real quick that this reminds me of some of that modern day reefer madness that we actually covered in our last episode. And in that episode, one of those lawmakers in Alabama literally said that a half package of edibles was equivalent to an 80% proof bottle of vodka. Make it make sense. And that goes straight back to my point that a lot of these lawmakers have no idea on what they're making these laws on. They've never consumed a plant, they've never grown it, they've had no idea how it works. But what they are doing is relying on other people to give them the information that they're seeking to actually make these laws. And again, we just gotta point out that under the Farm Bill, the 2018 Farm Bill, anything under 0.3% is completely legal. That makes hemp legal at the federal level. But let's take it to the Senate because they effectively passed that bill which would ban the sales of THCA in Tennessee.
Today, the state Senate passed a bill banning the sale of popular THCA products, including vapes, pre-rolled joints, and smokable flour.
10 News reporter Olivia Daig has been talking to business owners this week about the impact. And today, Olivia, you spoke to a hemp farmer who says he's going to have to change the way he does business.
That's right. There are around 2,000 hemp businesses in Tennessee employing thousands of people in the state. Lawmakers want to see the industry have more regulations, but advocates say the cat's out of the bag. These products have already been legal, and pulling these products will just lead to consumers and businesses moving operations and their dollars out of state.
And not just out of state, but also into the black market. A lot of people have been getting flour for decades, centuries, long before legal herb was even a thing. And do you think that by now, recriminalizing it, it's gonna stop it? It's absolutely not. But the only people who are gonna lose out are the legal business owners, the state when the tax dollars go elsewhere, and the consumers who need to get their medicine.
In the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, Ryan Rush's hemp farm
I won't even try to complain.
is his happy place.
No, I'm very fortunate this is what I get to work in.
But with a bill banning the sale of THCA heading to Governor Billy's desk, his future might be on the other side of the mountains.
All the THCA stuff that we do would go to North Carolina, and we would have employees going over there 3 to 4 times a week for that.
THCA products make big money for hemp businesses. At the Hemp House, it's a third of Andy Chesney's sales. At the Blom Shop, it's almost 80% for Travis McKinney. And it's the same story for Rush's business. He would still make edibles here in Maryville since those products wouldn't be impacted. But some other THCA products make up for 70% of his sales.
It's not going to stop.
So it's worth it for him to go over state lines. Andy says others will follow suit.
And I'm just being very blunt, like that's what's going to happen. That's what a lot of shops are already planning. They already have LLCs and business licenses set up in other states.
Another part of the bill would give oversight to the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission.
Cannabis and liquor should not be controlled by the same people.
Fact.
Oil and water.
Lawmakers want to create a 3-tier system similar to alcohol regulations. Thursday, the Senate voted to regulate the industry.
A lot of people making laws about things that they don't understand. They're going to affect a lot of people's lives in very negative ways.
So, Olivia, the reason the industry has been able to sell these products is because it's federally protected.
Right. There was a 2018 federal farm bill signed into law by current President Donald Trump. But lawmakers say this created a loophole allowing intoxicating products to be sold. So when you smoke THCA, it gives users a similar feeling to marijuana. And that's why lawmakers say they want to regulate it. But businesses say because it's been available for so long, the demand is still out there and people will try to buy it other ways.
And for sure, because a lot of businesses across the state make millions of dollars on these products, there's going to be pushback when it comes to this.
Yeah, there's already starting to see some traction there.
All right, Olivia, thank you so much for that report.
So everything that you guys heard right there goes back to what I said. It's absolutely legal at the federal level. A lot of people are going to be hurt. A lot of businesses are going to be hurt. A lot of employees are going to be put out of business. But also, a lot of people are just going to cross state lines. You guys heard it there yourselves. People are just going to set up legal businesses out of state. And a lot of people who can set up legal businesses or cannot get their flour from a legal business will just hit up the black market. So truth be told, it's a lose-lose for everyone. And a lot of times they cite the kids, they cite regulation, but to me, I think it's just about control and getting tax dollars in their pockets. But me and what I think doesn't matter, so let's hear what some of these hemp businesses in Tennessee have to say about this whole thing.
A bill banning the sale of hemp products with levels of THCA greater than 0.3% has now been passed in the Tennessee House and Senate. I spoke with State Senator Richard Briggs on why the bill was introduced and a local business owner on how his shops could be impacted.
I was actually amazed when I started seeing what was being sold in some of the cannabis stores.
THCA is a naturally occurring cannabinoid that does not have any psychoactive qualities in its raw state. When it's heated, smoked, or vaped, it turns into THC. A bill was passed in 2023, placing a limit on how much Delta-9 can be in legal products, but not THCA. One business owner saying that THCA is perfectly legal in Tennessee and has been since 2018, thanks to the Farm Bill.
100% legal to have THCA in Tennessee, even when this bill passes on January 1st. So let's get that clear first. Now, there's a lot of confusion on that. 100% you can have THCA and there's no criminal consequences.
And I want to make it absolutely clear, we have some very good, compliant, family-run cannabis stores that are selling hemp and hemp products.
Once the bill is signed by Governor Bill Lee, businesses and customers alike will see changes in the available options. A majority of products at some stores in Knoxville contain THCA or THCP, both banned under this new bill. Travis McKinney, who owns the Blom Shop in Knoxville, says more than just the businesses will suffer.
It's going to impact the people in Tennessee. That's the most important thing. You're going from these people that have been able to get these veterans, these mothers, these fathers, these doctors, these teachers, they're able to get legal cannabis products, federally legal hemp products in a store that's tested with DA certified labs. They're just now, it's going to go back to either online sales or the black market, unfortunately, and that's not what we want.
With these new parameters surrounding THCA, Senator Briggs says regulation of the products will be similar to alcohol.
It's going to be done by the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. We've designed this very closely to how we regulate alcohol.
And unfortunately, that right there is the problem. A lot of you old dinosaurs are still comparing the good herb to alcohol. You guys want the same control board to control alcohol as to control the good herb. And that in itself causes a lot of problems and just makes no sense to me. Now we're going to hear what a few more businesses have to say about this. But right here, according to this article, the bill has actually made its way to the governor's desk and it's a signature away from becoming law. Not only would it remove a lot of those THCA products from the market, but it'll also take CBD products away from pain patients. Now, according to this article, and I quote, "While I support common sense regulation to eliminate unsafe synthetic intoxicants and unregulated products from the market, this bill goes too far. For people living with chronic pain, full spectrum CBD is not a luxury, it's a lifeline." Now this, according to Nicole Dyer of the U.S. Pain Foundation via the Tennessee Lookout. She's from Tennessee, she's a mother of 3, and she's someone who lives with a complex disabling pain condition. And she says, "I've lived with pain for over 30 years due to a rare chronic pain condition that causes widespread burning nerve pain. The simplest tasks, standing, lifting my child, working a full day, can be nearly impossible without some form of relief. I've tried dozens of treatments, from prescription medications to physical therapy to surgical interventions. Some helped, many didn't. Full spectrum CBD is one of the few things that consistently makes a difference." So you guys can see a lot of people get benefits and medical relief from some of these products, and banning them outright is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. Now let's hear what some more of those Tri-City hemp businesses have to say about the potential impacts of that bill if it were to be signed into law.
In a last-minute switch, Tennessee lawmakers in the House passed a bill aiming to regulate the hemp industry in part by essentially banning hemp flower in the state.
The bill would create regulations including packaging, testing, and licensing requirements. However, during the final debate on the House floor, an amendment was added to ban hemp products with more than 0.3% THCA. That's a chemical compound in hemp that, when burned, turns into the same intoxicant found in marijuana.
News Channel 11's Jayana Scurry spoke with local businesses on the initial bill and how they feel about the late addition. Jayana?
Sarah, Casey, the business owners I talked to today say they're actually in favor of hemp regulations, but just hours before Tennessee House representatives voted on the bill last week, it was amended to include a ban on most THCA products, which in turn could devastate many hemp companies in the state.
And again, that's just something that these lawmakers do. When they're discussing these bills and they're going back and forth and there are a lot of amendments being made before they actually get to the governor's desk, it may start off as one thing and it may snowball into something completely different, and what appears on the governor's desk is not what you thought it was going to be.
This bill will completely destroy the lives of all of our employees.
Zach Green, founder and CEO of Gold Spectrum THC in the Smoky Grass Station retail stores, says the amended bill will cut 90% of his company's revenue. revenue that helps pay over 270 employees.
Kill the income for all of these families, and it's going to move the business outside the state of Tennessee. And then one flaw that's within this bill is commerce is still going to be allowed from outside the state of Tennessee to sell within the state of Tennessee. So do you want me to close down my business in Tennessee, fire all of my employees, and move to another state to then ship product into Tennessee?
So you guys can see how wacky that is. They don't want you to set up in-state, but you can set up out-of-state and sell to residents of that state. It makes absolutely no sense. And like I said, a lot of people who need these stuff for medical reasons are going to be denied it, just like these folks.
Business partners and founders of the Laboratory Smoke Shop, Ashton Smith and Adam Stallings, say they will also lose the majority of their revenue and have to cut at least half of their employees across their 4 locations. Stallings says this would be detrimental to their customers who primarily buy THCA for health reasons.
Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, anxiety disorders, PTSD with our veterans, cancer patients. I myself am a cancer patient, and that was the whole reason why Ashton and I decided to go into business together. By taking this product away is one of the most uncompassionate things that our legislative body could do.
Both companies support regulations of hemp products, just not the ban of the hemp products, and believe legislators need to be educated on what the ban could do.
I directly heard that from one of the House of Representatives. They said, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I thought that what I was voting was going to help you out. I didn't know that this was going to kill your industry."
If this bill passes this Thursday, that's immediately going to force us to, like we had talked about, move our, start looking at opening a store in another state like North Carolina.
Because if everyone does not make calls between now and Thursday morning, I might not have an industry to work in sometime this year.
We asked State Senator Bobby Harshbarger what he thinks of the issue. He says in part, quote, "These businesses have taken risks, created jobs, and built strong relationships in their communities. I respect their hard work and the important role they've played in shaping this emerging industry." Harshbarger adds it's not clear if the Senate version of the bill will conform to the House version, but he says he is in favor of the current Senate bill. The Senate votes on the measure Thursday.
So you guys see for yourselves the crazy stuff that these lawmakers be doing. And one thing is for certain, guys, lawmakers do not care about you. No matter how much they frame it as safety, public health, they're trying to save them, protect the kids. They don't care about you at all. What they care about is the profits, the money, and where that money is coming from. Who are my donors and who do I need to please? That's what's really important, and never forget that. So let me know what you guys think about all that. It's crazy what's going on down in Tennessee, but I really want to find out what you guys think. And something else that's really crazy is the fact that Big Alcohol is trying to cash in on the herb because the herb is actually taking away a lot of sales from Big Alcohol. It's a complete soap opera, so if you haven't seen it, check it out because it's coming up right now.